Last Tuesday, I downloaded 4 apps. All of them were free. One helped me track my sleep, one gave me a free stock trade, one was a budgeting tool, which by the way is hilarious, and one was just a game my friend recommended. 4 apps, $0 spent, and I sat there feeling pretty good about myself. Then I started doing what I always do. I started actually reading about these companies. And what I found genuinely made me uncomfortable. Because here's the thing, one of those apps, the free budgeting app, had quietly sold data to a network of financial institutions that used it to assess creditworthiness. Another one, the sleep tracker, had licensing agreements with health insurance researchers. The free stock trade? That company had made hundreds of millions of dollars selling my order data to hedge funds before my trade was even executed. And the game? Okay, the game was just a game, but 3 out of 4 isn't nothing. I didn't pay a single dollar, but I wasn't using free products. I was being the product, and honestly, I was a pretty cheap sell. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about the hidden cost of things that seem free. If you're someone who installs apps without really questioning how a company with hundreds of employees and millions in server costs manages to charge you nothing, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm going to show you today isn't just about privacy, it's about money, your money, specifically the money that flows out of your wallet as a direct result of apps you never paid for. And by the end of this, I promise you'll look at your phone screen a little differently. Section 1. The myth we need to kill. Let's start by killing a myth. The myth is this: I don't pay for apps, so companies can't really be making that much money off me. This is wrong in a way that is almost embarrassing once you see the actual numbers. In 2023, Meta, the company that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, all of which are free, generated $134 billion in revenue. Let me put that in perspective. That's more than the GDP of over 130 countries from apps that charge users nothing. Google's ad business, built on the back of free products like Gmail, YouTube, Maps, and Search, generated roughly $238 billion in 2023. Now, here's the question that actually matters. If nobody is paying for these products, who is writing the checks? Advertisers are writing the checks. And the reason advertisers are willing to write enormous checks is because of something you have that is genuinely extraordinarily valuable: your attention. And not just your attention, your profiled attention, your attention with a full dossier attached. Here's what most people don't realize. When you use a free app, you're not making no transaction. You're making a transaction that just isn't priced in dollars. Let me walk through what that transaction actually looks like in practice, because I think most people have a vague idea. They collect some data, they show me ads, and the vague idea dramatically undersells the reality. A typical free app, let's say a social media platform, is collecting some combination of the following from you right now: your location, often to within a few meters, often continuously even when the app is backgrounded; your browsing habits, which you search, which you click, which you don't click but linger near; your social graph, who you talk to, how often, at what hours of the day; your emotional state, inferred from what content you engage with. Research from Facebook's own data science team, published in 2014, showed they could detect whether users were feeling defeated or stressed based on language patterns in posts. Your financial situation, inferred from your device model, your location patterns, your purchasing behavior, and cross-referenced with data brokers. Whether you rent or own, whether you have children, whether you are currently pregnant. Target famously figured this out before some customers' families did, based purely on purchasing patterns. Now, I want to be really clear. This isn't conspiracy theory territory. This is documented. It's in court filings. It's in the academic literature. A 2021 report from the Irish Council for Civil Liberties estimated that intimate personal data on US and European users is shared via advertising systems 294 billion times per day. Per day. And look, I'm not saying this to make you paranoid. I'm saying this because you cannot make good financial decisions without understanding the economic system you're operating inside of. Let me get concrete with some numbers because this is where it really hits home. Meta, in 2023, averaged roughly $68.44 per user per quarter in the United States and Canada. That's about $273 a year per person from people who paid $0 for the product. Let's think about what that actually means. You are worth $273 a year to Meta. That's the amount advertisers collectively paid to reach you specifically. If you've been on Facebook or Instagram for, say, 10 years, Meta has extracted approximately $2,730 in advertising value from your eyeballs and your data over a decade. And that's just Meta. That's not Google, that's not TikTok, that's not the dozen other apps running in the background of your phone right now. Here's the analogy I want you to think about. Imagine there's a shopping mall that lets you in for free. Great food court, free entertainment, comfortable temperatures. You think, wow, what a deal. But the mall has done the math. They know that the longer they keep you comfortable, warm, and entertained, the more you'll spend at the stores. The free experience isn't generosity, it's infrastructure for extraction. Free apps are that mall. Your attention and your data are what you spend at the stores. And the stores never close. Section 4. The 3 businesses inside every free app. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but it's just advertising. I see some ads. It's annoying, but whatever. Look, I hear you, but here's what most people don't realize. Advertising is only one of the revenue streams. Most free apps are actually running multiple businesses simultaneously, and some of them are a lot more aggressive than banner ads. Let me break down the 3 most important ones. Business number 1, the advertising business. This is the obvious one, so I'll keep it brief, but I do want to make one point that people miss. It's not that they're showing you ads. It's the precision of the targeting that makes it worth so much money to advertisers. A billboard on a highway costs an advertiser maybe $2 to $5 per thousand views. That's the industry metric, called CPM, cost per mil. A generic web banner ad might be $3 to $10 CPM, but a hyper-targeted ad on Instagram sent specifically to a 28-year-old woman who has been searching for wedding venues, who recently got engaged based on a ring photo she posted, whose location data shows she visits high-end boutiques, that CPM can be $30, $50, even $100 or more. The data is what makes the targeting valuable. The targeting is what makes the price justify itself. And the price is what funds the free product you're using. Business number 2, the freemium trap. This one is interesting because it's more honest but uses psychology in a way that's worth understanding. Spotify is free, but Spotify also has 236 million premium subscribers paying about $11 a month. That's over $2.6 billion a month in subscription revenue from a free app. Here's how the freemium model actually works. The free tier isn't designed to serve you, it's designed to hook you. Every friction point on the free tier, the ads that interrupt your music, the inability to skip songs, the shuffle-only mode, is deliberate. It's not that Spotify couldn't remove those limitations. They could. They're there to make you feel the gap between what you have and what you could have, to create a low-grade irritation that eventually tips you into paying. And the brilliance of this model, or the frustration of it, depending on your perspective, is that it works on the people who are most engaged. The people who use the app the most, who get the most value from it, are the ones most likely to eventually hit a friction point that makes them pay. The casual users stay free forever and generate ad revenue. The power users convert to subscribers. It's a near-perfect revenue optimization. Business number 3, selling your behavior to people you've never heard of. This one doesn't get talked about enough. Many free apps, particularly in the financial, health, and productivity categories, have business models that aren't really about advertising at all. Their primary revenue comes from licensing aggregated user data to third parties. A few examples. A company called Foursquare, which you might remember as a check-in app, pivoted its business almost entirely to selling location data analytics to retailers, hedge funds, and real estate companies. Hedge funds use foot traffic data from apps to predict quarterly earnings before they're announced. If they can see from aggregated location data that a retailer's store traffic is down 20% in the weeks before an earnings report, they can trade on that information legally. A 2020 investigation by the New York Times found that a single location data file they obtained contained the detailed movements of over 12 million Americans, with data points collected from apps people thought were just for weather or coupons. Your data has a market. That market is large, and you are not a participant in it. You're the inventory. Section 5. The hidden financial cost to you. Okay, here is where I want to connect all of this directly to your bank account, because everything I've said so far is kind of abstract. Let me make it concrete. There are 3 specific ways that free apps cost you real money. Cost number 1, the impulse purchase pipeline. A 2022 Credit Karma survey found that 48% of millennials said they'd made impulse purchases driven by social media content, with an average purchase of around $81 each. And this wasn't just from paid ads, it was from organic content, the aspirational lifestyle posts, the unboxings, the "here's what I bought" videos. This is by design. These platforms are not optimized for your contentment, they are optimized for your engagement. And research consistently shows that comparison drives engagement, and comparison drives spending. When you see someone else's kitchen renovation, their vacation, their new car, you're being subjected to a systematic comparison engine that is designed to make you feel the gap between what you have and what you could have. That feeling costs money. Let's say it costs you just $75 a month in purchases you wouldn't have made otherwise, which based on the data is a conservative number for an active social media user. That's $900 a year. Invested instead at an average 8% annual return over 30 years, that's over $113,000 from one habit, one quietly expensive habit you never paid to develop. Cost number 2. The free financial product problem. This one makes me genuinely frustrated because it specifically targets people who are trying to do the right thing. Robinhood built its entire brand around free stock trading, no commissions, democratic finance, investing for everyone. Beautiful. Except their primary revenue source was something called payment for order flow, selling your trade orders to high-frequency trading firms before executing them. Those firms use that information to trade against your position in the milliseconds between when you place your order and when it fills. You get a slightly worse price, they get a slightly better price, and they pay Robinhood for the privilege of front-running you. In 2020, FINRA fined Robinhood $57 million, at the time the largest fine in FINRA history, partly related to this practice. The free trade was never quite free. The cost was just invisible. The same dynamic plays out in free credit monitoring apps, free budgeting tools, and free financial advice platforms. The business model shapes the advice. If an app is monetizing you through affiliate partnerships with financial products, their recommendations are not independent. Period. Cost number 3, the attention tax. This one is harder to quantify, but I think it might be the most expensive. The average American spends 4 hours and 47 minutes a day on their phone. According to data from app analytics firms, a significant portion of that is on apps specifically engineered to maximize time on app, social media, short-form video, endless scroll feeds. Now, I want to ask you a question that I think is worth sitting with. What is your time worth per hour? If you make $60,000 a year and work 40 hours a week, your time is roughly $29 an hour. If 2 of those 4.6 daily hours are on apps specifically designed to capture your attention without giving you meaningful return, learning, connection, legitimate entertainment, you're essentially spending $58 of your time every day in a way you didn't consciously choose. That's not a precise calculation, but I think the order of magnitude matters. These apps don't just cost you money through what they make you buy, they cost you time, and time is the one thing you genuinely cannot make more of. Section 6. What to do about it. All right, I'm not here to tell you to delete your apps and go live in the woods. That's not realistic, and honestly, some of these products have genuine value, but there are specific, practical things you can do right now. Step 1. Treat free as a red flag that requires investigation, not celebration. Before you install any app, spend 2 minutes asking, how does this company make money? If it's not obvious, if there's no subscription, no clearly priced service, you should assume your data is the product. That doesn't mean don't install it, it means install it with open eyes. Step 2. Audit your subscription conversion decisions separately from your app decisions. There are apps where paying is genuinely the better financial move. If you're on the free tier of a budgeting app that's monetizing your financial data, paying $5 a month for a privacy-respecting alternative might be cheaper than the risk of what's being done with that information. Step 3. Make one rule about social media and purchasing. The rule is this: if you see something you want to buy on social media, you wait 72 hours before buying it. That's it. Research on impulse purchases shows that the urge diminishes significantly within 48 to 72 hours when you don't act on it immediately. The platforms are designed to create urgency. Slow is the antidote. Step 4. Look up your own data broker profiles. Sites like Spokeo, White Pages, and dozens of others have profiles on you right now with your address, relatives, income estimates, and more. Assembled from app data and public records, many of them have opt-out processes. It takes a few hours, but it limits how easily this data can be cross-referenced and sold. This isn't a perfect fix, but it puts friction in the system. Step 5. Apply the "would I pay for this" test. For every major free app you use regularly, ask yourself, if this charged me $10 a month, would I keep using it? If the answer is yes, if it's genuinely valuable enough that you'd pay, then you're getting a good deal, and the data trade-off might be worth it. If the answer is no, if you're using it out of habit or boredom, that's a signal. That's an app that has successfully captured your attention without giving you something you actually value. Here's the thing I want to leave you with. We are living through a period where the most sophisticated engineers, product designers, and behavioral scientists on the planet are working on one central problem: how do we capture and monetize human attention at scale? And the results of that work are on your phone right now. They're beautiful, polished, frictionless, and free. The problem isn't that these companies exist. The problem is that most people interact with these products as if they're neutral utilities, like running water or electricity. They're not. They are profit-generating systems, and you are the input. And look, I genuinely don't think most of the people building these products wake up in the morning thinking about how to extract money from unsuspecting users. I think most of them believe in their products. But the incentive structure, the advertising model, the engagement optimization, the data brokerage creates outcomes that are not in your financial interest, regardless of anyone's intentions. Understanding that is not being paranoid, it's being financially literate. In the same way that understanding compound interest changes how you think about debt, understanding how attention is monetized changes how you think about your time and your spending. The best financial decision makers I know are the ones who can see systems clearly. They can look at something that seems free and ask the right question. Free for whom? Free for how long? Free at what cost? Start asking that question about every app, about every platform, about every product that shows up in your life without a price tag. Because nothing in a $2 trillion industry is actually free. My name is Nick. If this changed how you see your phone, even a little, hit that subscribe button.
I put out videos every week on the economics and psychology behind the financial decisions most people are making on autopilot. Thumbs up if this helped you out. And drop a comment below. Which free app do you use the most, and do you actually think it's free? I read every single one of these. I'll see you in the next one.